So now I was in the saggy bottom lanes, and I want to show you something real interesting. Now, unfortunately, these are not old growth trees. This is a member of the redwood family, the redwood subfamily of the much larger juniper family. So that's Taxodium of Cupressaceae, but you don't need to remember all that. Just know they're related to redwoods. And these have been lagged. You know, they can live 2,000 or 3,000 years. But these have been lagged, these guys. This is second growth. This is a young tree. But it's something interesting they do produce is these pneumatophores, aka the cypress knees. And the plant I'm talking about, of course, is the bowed cypress. So this is a living piece of plant tissue that's connected to the much larger root system of these heavily buttressed trees. Now, the reason they're heavily buttressed, of course, is to hold them up during their inundation with waters. God, the flies are really fucking brutalizing me right now. But anyway, they're the buttress trunks in the water tupelos do this too. That's another species, you know, unrelated species does the same thing. It's called convergence. You know, it's basically an evolutionary response to their environment, and their environment in this case is, you know, being inundated with the floodwaters that can you know, knock them over. They need that extra stability. It's like the buttresses in Notre Dame, you know, or Notre Dame. How do you pronounce it? Sound exotic. But anyway, these pneumatophores, aka the knees, you know, it was thought that they're partially a response to help get oxygen in this inundated water, but I don't know if I buy that. I think that might be part of it. I think a lot of it is just root stability. During the raging waters that surely, maybe it's not raging, you know, but the waters that, of course, sometimes can come up to, you know, probably I would be submerged right now. So the plant, of course, is Taxodium distichum, bowed cypress, and it's a deciduous, meaning it drops its needles every winter. It's a deciduous conifer, okay, and you get a couple species in both the pine and the redwood family that do this. Okay, you get Metasequoia glyptostroboides. That's a redwood that'll grow in zone 5 winters like Chicago, and you get Glyptostrobus pensilius. That's a very endangered and rare conifer from China and Vietnam that does this, from the more subtropical areas of China. It's not very cold hardy, that Glyptostrobus pensilius. I've grown it a few times. I gave a species of that to a seedling that I grew. I gave to the Garfield Park Conservatory over there, and I actually planted it out, whereas they managed to kill most of the other stuff I gave them. Regardless, you also get some members of the pine family that do that too, that have that deciduous habit. You get the larches, you get the pseudolarix, a beautiful member of the pine family that does that, native to China. And it's, you know, basically a response to cold temperatures. You know, it's a way for the plant to, oh, look at it. See, same buttress trunk on that, what is it, a tupelo? I don't know. But it's basically a response to the cold temperatures of the winter, or, you know, in the case of Glyptostrobus, and this hypothesis might have been shut down, but Glyptostrobus back in the Eocene, when temperatures worldwide were much warmer, due to massive volcanic eruptions that spewed carbon dioxide into the atmosphere for hundreds of years, somewhat akin to what we're doing right now. We haven't seen any volcanoes like that today. What is this? That's not, what is it? I don't know what that is. I wonder if that's isoedes. I don't think so. But during the Eocene, the temperatures were much warmer. The Glyptostrobus, it was, you know, there's Glyptostrobus fossils from up at Ellesmere Island at about 70 degrees north. Okay, and you know, it's thought that the deciduous habit for that species was a response to growing at high latitudes where the winters are so dark, you know, and then it's just a leftover trait, you know, 45, 50 million years later, that is retained in the species. I don't know if, I think that might have been disproven, but either way, the deciduous habit, excuse me, can be a response to cold temperatures, summer dry, which is obviously not the case here, or obviously growing on a spot where it's dark half the year and you don't need to photosynthesize anyway. So look at those dragonflies just off the road here. The flies are, the actual biting flies are terrible. I'm gonna go see what's over here, but I hope you enjoyed learning about the Taxodium distichum. Hopefully I'll find some nice snakes or something too. Oh look, here's one of their cones. This is a Taxodium cone. You can see those scales, and if you look at the cone, it does look like a redwood cone. You got those basically those scales, those little plates that occur in a somewhat whorled fashion around the cone. And basically this is an old one, it's rotten, but basically what happens is the cone just kind of disintegrates at the end of the season when the seeds are mature, and then the seeds get transported by the swamps and the movement of the water in the swamps that these trees grow in.